this is Nevin again with Disc-It, bringing to you episode 2 of season 6, all brought to you by DukeCityLocal.com. Don't go away. Welcome back. This week we have a lovely episode for you. This is Valentine's Day weekend. And don't forget, we're actually at the Bob Girding Outdoor Hunting Show this week. And we also have a very special guest. We brought Brent Bolton of Dutch Masters in to hook us up with some Hush, help me out here, what is it?
Hush Puppies.
Hush Puppies, and it's got a surprise kick to it or something?
There's definitely a surprise. Definitely a surprise.
So we got Hush Puppy surprise cooked on the Disc-It. Brent, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Nevin.
Love
Thanks
to
for
have
having
you.
me.
So what are we going to do here? Talk to me about this Hush Puppy stuff. What is it?
The Hush Puppy is an old Southern favorite. It's been around forever. It got its name from when they were cooking and the dogs were right outside the back door howling because they could smell all that good food. And they take a little bit of the cornmeal batter that they were using to deep fry fish or whatnot in and roll it up into a ball and throw it in the oil and cook it up. Open that door a little bit, throw that dough ball out there for the dogs and yell at the same time, "Hush, puppy!" And that's where the name came from.
No, you're kidding me.
No, it's serious. It's serious. That was where the name
Hush,
came
puppy.
from. It's true. But I'm the chocolate and peanut butter guy, so I like to take that Southern concept and I want to bring it home.
Okay.
I want to bring it home to New Mexico. So I want to do it with blue corn.
Blue corn Hush Puppies.
Blue corn Hush Puppies. But
Nice.
that wasn't enough. So we're going to figure out how to put a stuffed middle inside of a Hush Puppy.
We're going to stuff the Hush
Well,
Puppy.
we're going to do it backwards. We're going to start with the middle and we're going to build a Hush Puppy around it.
Okay.
So anyway,
Let me turn this thing on here real quick, start getting
all
this
right,
thing warm.
we'll be warming up.
Now, the Disc-It, you always just pushing that knob, rotate to the left, click, ready to go.
Yes,
So,
sir.
got that going. What do we
Okay.
start with first?
Well, what I wanted to start with, I wanted to make this easy to make.
Okay.
So
That way I can even do it?
even Nevin can pull this off. That's true. So
We'll find out.
yeah, okay. Well, anyway, I just used a can of chicken. Instead of having to cook a whole chicken and bone it and, go through all that, I just got a can of chicken, and I like the mixed white and dark meat.
Okay.
So there's one can of chicken. Once you open it up out of the can and you put it in your container, whatever you're going to do, you want to break it up real fine.
Okay.
Because we're going to actually turn this into little balls when it's all mixed up. And if it's chunky, it won't form very well. So we're going to just break that up real good to where it's all
Man.
shredded.
The chicken there.
So we've got it, we've got it in pretty good shred shape right there. And then we're going to add God's gift to New Mexico.
Me.
Well,
Hush Puppy?
all right.
Oh, you're talking about green chili.
Well, we're talking about green chili. That's right. We're going to add about a quarter cup of green chili, and you can affect the heat of the finished product by your choice
Okay.
of chopped chili. So we're going to put all that chili in there,
Nice.
and before we mix that in, we're going to add the last ingredient, which to me is very important.
What is that?
That's shredded cheese, but this is not. It's not cheddar. It's not mozzarella. This is asadero. It's not Asiago. It's asadero,
Asadero.
which is basically in the Mexican queso blanco, which is
Okay.
white cheese.
So how do we get this in Ohio?
How do you get that in Ohio? You go to the Mexican grocery stores,
Mexican grocery
and
stores now.
they actually have
I learned
5 or
something
6 of them, and they actually carry this.
And it's asadero.
Asadero.
cheese. And is it shredded or is it blocked and you shred it yourself?
You buy it in a block, and
Okay.
I shredded it. You need it shredded real fine, as you see here, so that it will mix in really well.
And that's what you're going to do with the frozen stuff. So you're going to mix all that together.
Right.
While you're mixing that,
Okay.
I'm going to take a second here. We're going to get into this week's Spotlight Disc-It. This week's Spotlight Disc-It is the Rose Disc-It. It is Valentine's weekend after all, so if you can't get your wife a dozen of red roses, get her a rose disc-it. You can see that disc-it on our pattern section of the website, or you can choose from over 450 different disc-it designs. Now keep in mind, we'll make the disc-it however you want. We're ready to build one for you. So now that we got into seeing this week's featured Spotlight Disc-It, we're getting back into cooking. Brent Bolton with Dutch Masters here. He's doing the Hush Puppy surprise stuff with chicken, green chili, and asadero. Asadero cheese, shredded asadero cheese.
You know, that's bad when a white guy has to tell a. Okay.
So we got all that stuff. You already mixed that up real good.
We are all mixed up.
The biscuits back on and off. We got to put some oil in this thing.
We got to put some oil in that thing, but we're going to be mixing our dough up as well. So
dough. Oh, okay. You have to make the batter for the.
We have to make to surround it. Okay. Right. So anyway, we've got our center core mixed up, and for the size center core that I wanted, I chose a 1 teaspoon.
Oh, because you're going to use that to mold it into.
I'm going to use that to kind of decide how much of the mix I'm going to pull out. So I take that about that much, and then I just dump it out in my hand here, and that gives me about the right volume. Okay. And then I'm just going to form it.
Oh, so you're going to roll it into a ball.
I'm going to roll it into a ball.
Okay.
And what I've done is I've got a cookie sheet here with some wax paper on it.
Okay.
Okay. And I just put that little meatball right on the cookie sheet, and then when you've got all of them made, that goes in the freezer overnight.
Okay.
Okay.
So some you're going to prep ahead of time then.
Well, the problem that you're going to have with making a hush puppy with a center stuffing is when you try and wrap that in dough, you need that to be firm enough that you don't destroy it while you're wrapping the dough around it.
Oh, okay. So you want something solid. That's what you're freezing it for then.
Right. So now these are not actually frozen. These were frozen overnight, but they're cold, so they're stiff.
Right.
Okay, so we're ready with the centers. Now what we've got to do is we've got to mix up our hush puppy dough that we're going to wrap around those.
Okay. That's the blue corn you're telling me
That's the blue corn. We're going to start with 2 cups of blue corn meal. Okay? So we put our 2 cups of blue corn meal in there.
Good color.
We've got, well, you know, it starts out that color, but wait till you see what it looks like after it's cooked. Yeah.
And see what it looks like before we eat it.
And we've got 1 cup of self-rising flour.
Okay.
Okay, so that's 3 cups of the balance.
Okay.
2 cups of corn, 1 cup of regular flour.
That's going to be pretty cool.
We've got a teaspoon of salt.
Is that just sea salt, kosher salt?
That's just
table salt?
out of the box salt. Regular old salt. Got a teaspoon of baking powder.
Okay.
Okay. All right, so that goes in.
All kinds of stuff.
We have a teaspoon of one of your favorites. I've got a teaspoon of Albukirky green chili rub. Now, a lot of people will say, oh, you can't put rub in a regular recipe. Well, I got to tell you that all the stuff in here is great in a regular recipe. Right. So you can take a green chili rub like that and use it as a seasoning for a lot of things mixed in, and it does great. It does great indeed. Okay, that's our dry ingredients. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to crack a couple of eggs here. And
these aren't canned eggs like the canned chicken?
Oh, no, these are not canned eggs. Not canned eggs at all. And I'm just going to use the same vessel here, and I'm just going to whisk those eggs up real good.
Yeah, that seems getting ready. I think I'm going to add some oil to this biscuit here to get started on that.
All right. To the eggs, I'm going to add
puppy surprise.
1 cup of buttermilk.
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 Okay.
Buttermilk.
Why not regular milk?
Well, regular milk works.
Okay.
The buttermilk gives you a whole different slant on the taste, on the profile. It gives you that little bit of sour, that little bit of richness with the butter, and I just like it. I like it a lot. So that's all of our wet ingredients, and we've got those all mixed up.
So you're going to mix that you're going to mix all that all together now, or just?
Now the wet goes into the dry ingredients.
Okay.
Okay, and I may take a moment to just blend my dry ingredients real good.
Well, while you're blending, let's take
Alrighty.
an opportunity to get into this week's Ask Nevin Anything section of this episode. Hey, this week's feature of the Ask Nevin Anything section of this episode is actually a quick little insert video of showing you how to quick clean your cooking disc. Check it out. All right, so we want to go ahead and show you a quick, awesome way to clean your disc. Now, what I'm going to do is I've actually still got some food in here. We had actually just finished some elk with the mango salsa. Now, sometimes when you're cooking with different types of seasonings or different type of sauces, sometimes with some sugars, or if every once in a while you cook on too high of a heat, sometimes you can get a pretty dirty disc here. So now there's a lot of ways. Normally what we try to do to clean your disc is to heat it up and go ahead and use some sea salt and a little bit of oil. Sometimes that might just take a little bit too long. So what I'm gonna do is teach you a real quick trick. So all you're gonna do is turn your burner on high heat. Now this thing's still a little bit warm because we just finished cooking on it, but in a very well seasoned disc, this thing works great. I try to stay away from it in a brand new disc because you really need to have a good seasoning, a nice cooking surface on that. Now this one here, I'm gonna tilt this up just a little bit. I've got a little bit of oil in there, so I'm not gonna tip it too much. But you can see we've got onions stuck to that. We've got a bunch of the mango also that's stuck to it because I was cooking on too high of a heat. So a quick trick to that is we're gonna go ahead and add some salt and the water to it with a real hot disc. Now, make sure you do not have oil in there because when you add water to hot oil, you know what that happens, so do not get burned. The other thing you gotta watch out for too is to make sure that you don't get burned by the steam, because when you have a hot disc, you're gonna add all that water in, you're gonna have a lot of steam, as you'll see here in just a second. So I'm gonna make sure I have no oil in here. Get this out. Again, the disc is nice and hot. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and add some salt. Now the salt's gonna help clean this up again as an abrasive, as we've talked in the past. And then I'm gonna go ahead and add the water. Now I'm gonna stand back a little bit because the hot disc and the water, it's gonna steam up real big. So you don't wanna get burned with that. Now what I'll typically do, add some paper towels. Some people use a burlap sack, burlap sack. So I'll go ahead and add the a paper towel and using my spatula I was cooking with. I'm gonna go ahead and just rub that down. The reason I'm using a spatula is because I don't want to get burned by using my hand. So if you can check on this, if you can zoom into this, you'll see that this the water and the heat is really breaking up anything that was stuck to that disc. Now again, you only want to do this with a very well seasoned disc. Try to stay away from it on a brand new one, but this will really help everything out. So as that water goes and evaporates, wipe it down one more time. Always wipe it down with some vegetable oil and a little bit of salt again, and you're good to go. So that there is your very quick tip on cleaning your disket grill.
You know, the great thing about this whole concept, Nevin, is you can make that stuffing out of anything you want.
Stuff whatever.
It's just an idea.
Any surprise you want.
Any surprise in the middle you can come up with. Whee! Okay. So anyway, we've got our dry mix. So now we're going to mix in our buttermilk and our eggs.
Nice.
We're going to put our wet mix into our dry mix.
And you're gonna mix that up.
Now we're gonna mix that up.
And we've got some vegetable oil in the disket. It's running on high. We're gonna check temperature. Got our digital temperature here. Now I'm actually running a little bit too hot. I'm at 442 degrees. So I'm gonna actually turn that down for a little bit, Brent. Okay. You said you wanted these at 360,
350, 375.
Nice. Now this comes out, this is how we powder coat. You gotta check the temperature of the steel as it goes through the oven.
You've got your dough pretty stiff, and I think it's workable. And you just take some right there, and you take some of your filling.
And you just wrap it in.
And you just wrap it.
Nice.
Just wrap it in the dough.
Now when we put that in the oil, how long does it take to actually cook?
It takes about 1.5 minutes to 2 minutes, depending upon the oil temperature and so on and so forth. So you get them all wrapped up, and you try and get all that center covered up so that now those are pretty big.
Wow, that is a big hush puppy.
You can make the center cores smaller.
Uh-uh.
The other thing that you can do is you can call these appetizers, or actually make these a side to a good traditional meal.
That looks like a meal to me.
It could be. It could be.
So now you've got 2 of these things breaded already. I'm gonna let you finish breading all those, Brent, on your Hush Puppy surprise, and we're gonna go ahead and feature this week's featured business.
I'm Brent Bolton of Dutch Masters. I've been Dutch oven cooking for over 30 years now. I do catering. I also do special events, do festivals, and also history museums, both in Albukirky, New Mexico, and out of Columbus, Ohio as well. I can be reached at dutchmasters1@msn.com for email, and also area code 505-363-4130.
All right, so we got the disc with some oil in there. We're running about 380 degrees on this thing. So now what? You're just gonna add those in there?
We're gonna put them in the fire, and we're gonna be really careful adding these in because our oil is plenty hot. And I've got these setting on wax paper so that.
Look at that.
And I'm just gonna let them slide in.
I love it.
Slide some in there. There we go. Look at that. That's one of the nice things about the shape of the disket, is you can utilize. Look at that. I don't even have to get my hands over the oil. I just put them on the side,
push it in,
kick them in, and There we go.
Nice.
Look,
Blue corn Hush Puppy
you know
surprise.
what? That's looking like a Hush Puppy hot tub there. I love it. I love it. So we're going to let those cook about 1.5 to 2 minutes.
Okay.
If the oil is deeper, which you can add more oil,
Yeah.
but if the oil is deeper, some of these will actually self-flip.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they'll cook on the bottom and they'll turn themselves over. We can kind of
Shame
watch
on me.
this going here, and we can kind of roll one a little bit. And
Wow,
look at that.
look at that.
Look at that.
That's beautiful.
The only thing we have to cook is we have to cook our dough on the outside. Look how quick
Oh, yeah.
those are browning.
Now we're at 344. You're right.
We're perfect.
All right, leave it.
We
leave it
are.
as.
We are
Good
perfect.
deal. There he goes. Look at that. So you're just gonna put that on the paper towel just to absorb any of that oil, get that off of
Right.
there. Huh?
Exactly.
Nice.
Just checking.
Blue
them.
corn Hush Puppy surprise on the disket. You can cook anything on the disket.
And we have.
Yeah. We have done some neat stuff. So while we got this thing going here, I'm going to give one more mention here. We appreciate our sponsorship. DukeCityLocal.com is bringing you all the episodes of season 6 here. So thanks to the sponsors. And oh man, I can't wait.
But you must.
But I must.
You know what? While those are finishing off here, let's just take a quick look. And let's see what we got here.
Sneak peek. Throw that
Okay,
on.
there's one right there. Let's just saw that
Is it
thing.
going to ooze all over?
We're gonna saw this puppy right down the middle. Bad, bad. Oh, there you go.
wow.
You see that blue corn color? And then you see that stuffing, you see all that melted cheese and the chicken and the green chili is all in there too. Oh, buddy, I think we got it. Let's see, let me set these back out of the way. And let's pick the rest of these up out of here. All right.
Well, let's get this thing going here. Grab one for me, one for you. Want to see what this thing does?
I'm just gonna pick that one
You gonna
right
pick
off
that
the
one up?
plate. I'm gonna do that.
So here we've got blue corn Hush Puppy surprise on the disket. Cooking outdoors has never been better.
Oh, buddy. Good
Disket.
stuff.